Hey, Mr. Diaz, how you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad.
Wait, why are you here?
We're in the courtroom already on the right. If you want to come in.
Okay, all right. I'm coming in.
Yeah, come over here real quick, Mr. Diaz.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey,
What
doing
the
pretty
fuck,
good. How you doing?
Vinny's?
Alrighty. So you had a look at the questions.
Yes. Let me
Alrighty.
pull them up real quick.
Just to clarify, do you remember what happened that put you in hospital?
Uh, no, not really. Apparently, I used to be like the only thing I was like figured out was that
Hey
I
Nick, how
was
much
a
time do you guys
vago
need?
and then I wasn't when I woke up.
Just like 1 or 2 minutes, Your Honor. That's it.
Oh, okay, cool. Give me a shot when you're ready.
So yeah, if you have a look at the questions, there's nothing too crazy in there. We're going to keep the scope really limited. We're just going to basically try and establish that had you been conscious, you wouldn't have allowed anyone in. That's it.
Okay, so just
But-
answer them truthfully.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, absolutely.
there's no. I mean, obviously, the two people that were on your emergency contact list, Selena and Mr. Cruz, they obviously ended up in the wrong here as well. So there's nothing to say you wouldn't have wanted them there, but they shouldn't have been able to dictate who was allowed in or anything either. So you know when we ask, would you have allowed them to in? Obviously, yes, they're friends. They tried to help you and everything, but maybe you wouldn't have wanted anyone else to be allowed in while you're unconscious and unable to defend yourself, etc., etc. It's very
Yeah.
very narrow and very short line of questioning, so that just answer it honestly, and we should be fine.
Okay, sounds good.
And so just to reiterate again, this is a sealed case, so if you ever feel like there's anything you don't want to speak to because it's uncomfortable with the alleged Vargo involvement and everything, no one's gonna be able to find out that sort of stuff. So you can speak on whatever you feel like.
Okay, sounds good. Good to know.
Alrighty, I'll let Arthur know we're good to start.
All right.
Your Honor,
Yeah,
we're
apologies.
ready to start.
Okay, cool. Let's kick it off.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Listen, I'm in the middle of a first court
Thanks for having my back. Right.
I can tell you the ones that are. Jason Breakaway is. Salem also is. Who's the plaintiff's lawyer?
All right, let's get it.
Howdy, Your Honor. How you doing?
No, I'm asking my co-counsel here because they know the names of the people. What are the names of the guys that are? Nicholas Hamilton.
Hello, Your Honors. Good to see you both.
Good to see you too. How have you been?
Excellent, excellent. I just wanted to say I've been active in the past few days. So if you find any cases that goes along well enough my usual time zone, don't be afraid to whoop it at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I love Abdul.
Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it. I will sit back and just enjoy this case.
Okay.
Best of luck.
Thank you, Habibi.
Relax.
I have a light if anybody needs one. I can just put like a.
Okay, defense. You guys ready?
I'm doing openings. I have an opening.
Do
Absolutely.
you
Just
need any
make sure you're
food or
speaking
anything,
up as you're
Javier?
addressing me as well.
Getting away with this. Yep, that's why he's wearing a wig right now, and he's forced to have fake boobs.
I want the wig.
Are you guys good?
Yeah, we are. Would you like an extra light here? I have a.
I might need you
have a
to
light.
speak up for me, please, Joe.
Would you like an extra light? I have
Holy
one.
fuck!
Yeah, it couldn't hurt.
All right. But I'm ready. I'm just gonna put a light over here then.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, now.
Our relationship with Brian Knight.
All right, let's call this into session.
I'm gonna have to talk to them about.
Now we're here today for Javier Diaz versus Pillbox Medical. I'm going to start by reading the statement of claim. On or about the 6th of November 2021, the plaintiff was admitted into the ICU of Pillbox. While in the ICU, the defendant admitted two people into entry of patient's ICU room that were not on file as emergency contacts or next of kin. The assailants then proceeded to permanently disfigure the plaintiff, removing an ear, a toe, and carving a message into the client's chest. All a result of gross negligence and a clear violation of Pillbox's duty of care. The relief being asked for today is $30,000 of general damages sought for the permanent disfigurement of the plaintiff as a result of the defendant's actions, and $10,000 of punitive damages for gross negligence on part of the defendant. Okay, we're going to move on to openings. Plaintiff, when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honour. Ladies and gentlemen, today you will hear through the course of these proceedings how a man, the plaintiff, Mr. Diaz, was brought to Pillbox for emergency medical attention and through neglect by his physician, left Pillbox not only more injured than he entered, but mutilated, missing an ear, a toe, and having his chest carved up, permanently scarred without expensive and complex plastic surgery. Thank you.
One moment, Your Honor.
Yeah, of course.
Good day, Justice McNee and everyone else watching this trial unfold. My name is Gioconda Coppola. I am the lead attorney for the defense of my client, Dr. Charlie Hardy. This is my opening statement.
Turn this down just a little
The
bit.
plaintiffs claimed on the filing of this case that they were suing my client for being, quote, grossly negligent and in clear violation of Pillbox medical duty of care, end quote. Those claims are not only fallacious, but completely unfounded, unreasonable, and offensive to the professional integrity of my client. My client, Dr. Charlie Hardy, is a former Royal Navy field medic, a former hazardous area response team medic, and a former volunteer physician for Doctors Without Borders. His professional record is pristine and speaks volumes to the type of physician he is. I will prove here in this courtroom today that not only was my client not negligent, but he also exhibited impeccable professionalism and did everything under the Hippocratic Oath as well as the Pillbox Medical Standard operating procedures. I will show you that this case does not have any legs to stand on, and that the plaintiff, although a victim of a horrific crime that should have never taken place anywhere, let alone the hospital, should be ashamed of himself for having the audacity to file it to seek monetary gain at the expense of tarnishing the reputation of my client with these fallacious claims.
I love this. This is good.
However, I do believe that this case was a necessary evil so that some systemic issues could be highlighted here today.
This is a great opening.
And I am going to show said issues as we go along. Thank you.
That is a great opening.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. Plaintiff, when you're ready with your first witness, please.
We'd like to call Dr. Charlie Hardy, Your Honour.
Okay.
Raise your left hand, sir. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury, so help you, Han?
I do.
The witness has been sworn in, Your Honor.
Okay, when you're ready, Hamilton.
Alrighty, Mr. Hardy, can you just state your name and position for the record, please?
Yeah, I'm Dr. Charlie Hardy. I'm a doctor at Pillbox Medical.
All right. Your Honor, in the court, I'll be referencing the plaintiff's A, the medical report. You want a moment to grab that?
Yeah, give me 2 seconds. Are you speaking with your chest, Hamilton?
I am, yeah.
Okay, it must be me then.
Is
Right,
it
yeah, I've
better
got
if
it when
is
you're
it
ready.
better if I'm not behind the podium?
Honestly, it sounds the same. Don't worry, I'll fix my ears.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I've got it open when you're ready.
Dr. Hardy, on November 8th, the plaintiff was admitted to Pillbox Medical for multiple injuries, correct?
I believe it was November 6th.
All right. And you treated him for the mentioned injuries?
Yeah, I did.
As an employee of Pillbox Medical, do you have a duty of care for patients in your charge?
I think as a doctor, I have a duty of care for patients in my charge, yes.
Alrighty. And after admitting the plaintiff to the ICU, you attempted to contact all 4 of the plaintiff's listed emergency contacts, correct?
I did attempt to contact them all, yes.
And you were able to contact 2 of the 4 listed.
Yes, that's correct.
Objection. That's all right. He answered. Continue.
The 2 that you're able to contact, were they Selena Martinez and Santana Cruz?
That's correct, yep.
Can you tell me what the purpose of an emergency contact is?
So an emergency contact and the next of kin are pretty much synonymous. It is basically a friend or family member who is to be contacted as someone who can be directly responsible for that, that patient's care while they are unconscious or receiving treatment. So effectively, they're next of kin.
Alrighty, and who decides who's on a patient's emergency contact list?
The patient does.
And what happens in the event that none of a patient's listed emergency contacts are able to be reached?
That happens quite a bit. So in that case, the patient will be moved away to the ICU ward. It may be possible that visitation is, scheduled the following day or a different time.
All right, and with this visitation, are IDs checked before allowing people in for visitation?
They are sometimes, yeah. Or we aim to check them all the time, but sometimes that's not possible.
And are the visitors documented anyway?
Yep, they're all documented in ICU reports, especially the ones who are direct next of kin.
All right, and why are the names of the additional visitors in question not on the medical report?
Because often in situations like this, there can be a lot of people, especially if it's a gang-related thing. A lot of patients next of kin might state this entire gang, and in that case, anyone in that gang is eligible to come and speak to that patient usually. So it's not always the case that we document fully every person who's in and out. People can come and go as they please, potentially, if a door's been left or similar.
It's good that you mentioned gangs. Can you tell me what a Vargo is?
A person is a member of the Vargos gang.
And what do you know about Vargos?
Very little. I know that they're one of the gangs in the city. They wear yellow. That's all I know, to be honest.
You mentioned in your report that the Vargos were basically given blanket access to the plaintiff here, and they wear yellow. In that instance, would just anyone that have been wearing yellow been allowed entry?
No, in that instance, you have to know the people as well. You wouldn't just blanket allow anyone who walked up and said, "I am, this person."
Does a contactable emergency contact, so in this case, Selena and Mr. Cruz, do they receive medical power of attorney over an incapacitated patient? In this case, where they're unconscious or something?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm not a lawyer.
As a result of the assault of the plaintiff while he's incapacitated in the ICU, the plaintiff lost an ear, a toe, and had his chest mutilated. Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And as a result of allowing ICU access to, I quote, the Vagos, as stated in your report, Selena Martinez was also assaulted. Correct.
She was assaulted, yes.
And the same for Santana Cruz, who was taken hostage. Is that correct?
I believe so, yeah.
And shortly after being taken hostage, Santana Cruz was admitted to Pillbox Medical with head injuries as well.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to discuss another patient's situation unless I'm cleared to mention that.
You were not. That was not submitted into evidence.
It's Your Honor, it's noted at the bottom of the medical report.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I confirm that then. She was admitted later on.
All right, that's it for me at the moment, Your Honor.
All right. Will I have an opportunity to call Hardy back, or
Yeah,
Hello?
you can either cross-examine him now based on the questions Hamilton had just asked him, or you can mark him for recall and question him yourself.
all right? I'm gonna mark him for recall then, and I'm gonna question him later.
Okay, in that case, Mr. Hardy, you may step down. You're not free to leave, not that I think you would anyway.
Mm-hmm.
All right, in that case, Your Honor, we'll be calling Javier Diaz.
Okay, coming up, Mr. Diaz.
Gia,
Yeah.
because they
Reach your left hand.
because they're calling Javier Diaz for us.
Do you swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, under penalty of perjury, so help you, Han?
Yeah, I do.
What do you mean?
This witness has been sworn in, Your Honor.
Okay, when you're ready, Hamilton.
All right, Mr. Diaz, can you just state your name for the record, please?
Okay.
Javier Diaz.
Alrighty. Again, Your Honor, I'll just be referencing the said medical report from earlier.
Yeah, okay.
Alrighty, Mr. Diaz. Is your emergency contact list noted on the medical report correct?
Give me. Can you let me know who's on it?
Sure, if you like, just give me 1 second.
Yeah, I'll read it out. It would be Selena Martinez, Reggie Mitz, Santana Cruz, and Ash Ketchup.
Yeah, that's right.
So you know a Reggie Mitz?
Oh no, sorry. I'm pretty sure it's a different Reggie. I have another Reggie, but like I don't remember his last name.
That's
off the top
okay.
of my head right now.
And per this medical report, you were admitted to the ICU?
Yeah, that's correct.
And were you conscious after being admitted to the ICU?
No, I wasn't.
All right. Do you remember at all the events leading up to being admitted into the ICU?
No, I don't.
All right. Were you conscious after being admitted to the ICU? Would you have allowed access to your room to your emergency contacts?
Yeah.
Alrighty, and were you conscious after being admitted to the ICU? Would you have allowed blanket access to your room to, and I quote, Vagos?
No, I wouldn't have.
While in the ICU, did you have the means to consent to who was and wasn't allowed access to your room?
Can you repeat that question?
Yeah, no worries. While in the ICU, were you able to provide consent to who was and wasn't allowed access into your room?
I don't believe so. No.
And have you ever granted, on paper or verbally, anyone medical power of attorney to make decisions related to your medical care on your behalf?
No.
All right, that's it for me, Your Honor.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, any cross-examination?
No, Your Honor, but we would
What?
like to recall the witness.
What?
Okay, same to you then, Mr. Diaz. You may step on down, but please do not go anywhere.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Anybody else, Hamilton?
We rest, Your Honor. That's it.
You don't need to look over any evidence or anything? You just...
Well, I mean, we have the medical report, which I've noted multiple times. We did FOIA a police report, but unfortunately we didn't get one. But that is it for us.
Okay, no worries then. Okay, defense, over to yourselves.
Can't believe this shit. All right.
You make sure you're speaking with your chest, please, Javier.
Yes, I'm speaking with my chest. I'm going to call Javier Diaz.
Okay, in that case, Mr.
Yeah,
Diaz, come on back
now.
up. Okay, when you're ready, Salim.
Mr. Diaz, did you at any point of time identify yourself as a member of the gang known as the East Side Vagos?
Can you repeat the question or explain it?
Did you at any...
It's pretty cut and dry. Did you at any point identify yourself as a member of the gang, the East Side Vagos?
Objection vague. At what point in time?
Any point of time, Your Honor.
Any point in time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I used to be a Vago.
Okay, there's an objection on the floor, Mr. Diaz, so if you don't answer
sorry.
until we got this cleared up, okay? All right, thank
I
you.
apologize, Your Honor.
Okay, any rebuttal to the objection?
Yes, Your Honor. They said the question was vague because there wasn't specific time specified, I guess. We said, Your Honor, you know, did he specify at any time of point? Any point of time?
Okay, yeah, I'm going to overrule it. And yeah, let you answer the question, Mr. Diaz.
Okay. Yeah, I have.
According to according to the testimony, you were attacked by East Side Vagos. Why would East Side Vagos attack someone in their own group?
Objection, Your Honor.
Yep.
Basis?
What's your objection?
Speculation? Sorry, Your Honor, speculation.
It's not speculation, sir.
Okay,
You're literally asking him to speculate what others believe.
If you could repeat the question for me, please, Mr. Yellow.
Okay. According to the testimony, you were attacked by East Side Vagos. The question is, why would East Side Vagos attack someone in their own group?
I'm willing to sustain that one as speculation. He can't speak on why another person is doing the actions they're doing.
Okay. Are you currently a member of the East Side Vagos?
No. Ask the third question.
Your Honor, I'm gonna hand this to Gio.
I don't just follow the fucking line of questioning.
Gio,
Now
that
I'm
was
starting
the
to
same
feel bad.
fucking question.
It was not.
I'm starting to feel a bit bad now.
Gio, just
There's a bit of a
go
shit
ask
fight.
questions.
Gio, I'm gonna. Salem may have fucked up, but in this case, that following question is gonna get
not the
objected
same
to all the
question.
same.
Well,
It is. It's
but
gonna
it's-
get objected to.
Please continue, Salem.
Gio, please continue with the questions. I'm not gonna do anything.
All right, then you can continue, Breakaway.
All right. Sorry, Your Honor. I'll be taking over for Salem's line of
of
questioning. All right, I'll skip over that question. We'll move on. Now, something that we've missed is that we did request permission to treat one Javier Diaz as hostile in this line of questioning. Now, that's kind of already been progressed past, but I will allow you to, I will request you to rule on it so we have it on record.
Can I ask why?
Primarily owing to the nature of his previous affiliations with the parties involved, etc. And to be honest with you, we did want to retain him for cross-examination. There was some miscommunication.
What I missed?
This is a sealed court case, by the way. It's a civil sealed court case.
I'll just stand off to the side. Screw the chair. So yeah, I just wanted to double check with Judge Crane. Because he is the plaintiff, he is actually inherently hostile. You don't need to motion to have him as such.
Okay, awesome. All right, we'll continue then. Get this on the move. So, are you, Mr. Javier Diaz? Are you currently a member of the group named Eastside Vargos?
No.
Okay. So did you leave this gang amicably? Were you ever a part of it? You already admitted you were a part of this gang. Did you leave it amicably?
Objection,
Well-
Your Honor. Relevance.
Overruled.
Okay.
Continue answering, right, Your Honor?
Yes, please.
Okay. So when I woke up from ICU, I had memory loss. So I don't know exactly the reason I left. I just was told I was a Vago before, and now I'm not. When I woke up.
I see. So you woke up in the ICU, no longer a Vago. Now, this line of questioning, I need to ask Mr. Javier Diaz, are you currently employed?
Me? Yeah.
Yes. Where do you work?
Ooh Cafe.
And when did you start that job? After or before the incident?
Objection again, Your Honor. Relevance.
Your Honor, we're trying to establish a foundation for the potential motivations behind the attack and the grounds for this claim.
Okay, I do agree with Hamilton on this one. I'm going to allow this one through, but get to the point quickly or I'll strike the whole line, okay?
Yeah, okay.
From what I vaguely remember, it was, I believe it was after. Wait, are you talking about after the incident or after?
After the incident. After the incident. Were you employed after the incident?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
It's one of those questions
Now,
that I.
this
I
is
can't
the
really
last.
remember.
This is the last line of question in this particular line of questioning. Mr. Javier Diaz, are you seeking compensation today because your other avenues to make money now that you're disenfranchised from your gang were exhausted at the time of the incident?
Objection. Narrative.
Rebuttal?
Your Honor, if the plaintiff is formerly a member of the Eastside Vargos and there may be a monetary benefit to pursuing legal action against Pillbox Medical, then we wish to pursue the line of questioning to ensure that this is being conducted in good faith.
I'm failing to see how the question you just asked is relevant to any of the UU lines of questioning.
All right, I will move on.
Then, okay.
All right, Mr. Javier Diaz, who is listed in your emergency contact list at the hospital? I believe we established that earlier through Mr. Hardy's testimony. But if you could list those off for me, to your knowledge.
Who were the emergency contacts at that time or now?
At that time.
It was Ash, Selena, Reggie, and Santana.
Okay, I'm going to ask you for the court's benefit. Could you clarify which Reggie?
I can't remember his last name, but he also works at Uber Cafe.
You don't remember the name of someone on your emergency contact list?
Well, I've never really asked him his last name. I've always known him as Reggie.
So, the emergency contacts are people that you would traditionally trust, correct?
Yeah.
But you don't know the last name of someone you put on that list.
No, I've always known him as
Objection, Your
Reggie,
Honor.
so-
Asked and answered.
Yeah, no sustained.
Very well, very well, very well. All right. So Selena Martinez and Santana Cruz visited you that night because they were in your emergency contact list, correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
So what is your relationship to one Santana Cruz?
She's used to be a good friend of mine.
So you described yourself as close.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what is your relationship with one Selena Martinez?
She is like a sister to me.
A sister to you. So you would definitely describe yourself as close with Selena?
Yeah.
Selena Martinez was stabbed in the stomach trying to protect you. How would you describe the relationship to one Selena Martinez in the context of the ICU incident?
What do you exactly mean by that? Like,
actually, I'm gonna skip this question, Your Honor. So, you stand before Dr. Hardy here accusing him of negligence, correct? In your care in the ICU ward of Pillbox Hospital.
that is correct. Yeah.
Negligence because you were missing a finger and your body was mutilated during this visitation, correct?
Correct.
And give me 1 second, Your Honor. Okay. And you were attacked because the people you entrusted to your emergency contact list assured Dr. Hardy that it would be okay for them to enter the room to visit you.
From what I was told, yeah. I was knocked out. I don't even remember anything until I woke up.
So would it not be fair for me, being a reasonable individual, to assume that you were attacked because you were negligent with your choices in emergency contacts, since they were the ones who made the decision?
Objection, Your Honor. Counsel is testifying.
Yeah, sustained.
Very well. All right, I'm going to defer to Co-counsel Giaconda for the remainder of the
All right.
questions.
Have you seen Selena Martinez since this incident?
Yeah, she works at Uber Cafe as well.
Should I approach the
Yes, please, yeah.
the
Thank you.
microphone? All right. One moment. And have you seen Santana Cruz since this incident?
No, I haven't.
Have you asked Selena Martinez why she told Dr. Hardy it was okay for the man that mutilated your body to enter the ICU room where you laid in post-operative intensive care unconscious?
I was told a whole bunch of stories. I didn't know what story to believe. I was, like I said, I was in ICU. I literally don't remember anything that happened between all that stuff.
All right. And I'm to assume that you didn't have the opportunity to ask these questions of Santana Cruz, correct?
Correct.
You say you used to be friends with Santana Cruz, correct?
That is correct.
But they were in your emergency contact list, correct?
She was, yeah.
Okay. So if you were close with Selena and Santana, how would they not know these men were a threat to you at that time?
Objection, Your Honor.
Objection.
Speculation.
Oh, yeah, I'll sustain that one.
You say you're close to both of them, and yet these men are trying to kill you, right?
Objection, Your Honor.
there you're.
Asked and answered.
I'm just
Let
trying
her-
to
let
make
her
sense of
finish.
it. I'm just trying to make sense of this. Why were these women your emergency contacts, sir?
Objection, Your Honor. Asked and answered.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll sustain
I
that one.
cannot compute. I'm so sorry. Did you have your own friends attack you so you could collect money from the hospital?
Objection, Your Honor. Narrative and speculation.
All right, I think I rest now.
Okay. Anything for Cross?
One moment, Your Honor.
Yeah, of course.
Can you think of anything?
Well, not really. They just kind of helped us.
Yeah. We're good, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Diaz, thank you so much. You may step on down.
Appreciate
You
your
are
honor.
free to leave, but I doubt you would want to.
Yeah, no, I'll be standing over there.
Okay. All right, defense, who's your next witness?
Good shit.
I would. Is it me or is it him? Are you asking them?
No, you guys, the defense.
Oh, okay. Okay. I would like to call Pillbot XB.
Okay, Pillbox, come on up. You might need some help with the
Somebody help Pillbox.
Someone give him a kick.
Move back.
I fucking love Pillbot.
Oh God.
Somebody, please just carry him over it.
Just pick him up.
We give this
Pick
man some
him up.
dignity,
God
please.
damn it.
He's
Please
independent.
give him some dignity.
He's strong and independent.
Oh. Okay.
Please raise your left hand.
Oh my god.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, under penalty of perjury, so help you Han?
Affirmative.
The witness has been sworn in, Your Honor.
Okay, Gio, when you're ready.
All right. Could you state your full name for the record, please?
Pillbot XP.
Dr. Pillbot XP, how long have you been working at Pillbox Medical?
Pillbot has been employed as a doctor for roughly 4 months now.
And what is your job title and description at the hospital?
A medical doctor.
All right, and what does that entail?
Treating patients medically and surgically as required of Pillbot.
Did you have any type of gang identification training provided to ER by personnel at the PD? At Pillbox Medical? Are medical professionals frequently updated by PD on existing gang rivalries, visual codes, or otherwise?
Negative.
Do dispatchers of the PD notify Pillbox Medical directly when victims of a gang conflict are transported to the ER?
Negative.
Do you treat rival gang members often in the same room without police being present?
Affirmative.
Does law enforcement show up most of the time doctors request their presence?
Negative.
Have you ever been a victim of gang-related violence at the hospital?
Affirmative.
Have you ever witnessed other doctors being victimized by criminals at the hospital?
Affirmative.
How do gang members react when you tell them to take off their masks or show their ID?
Multitude reactions. Some comply, most do not, and they get aggressive at times.
All right, so what happens if you press on after they have refused?
Pillbox has been threatened multiple times for pressing on if they refuse.
How common would you say is this behavior among the gang members?
Quite common for major gangs.
All right. Does law enforcement seem to prioritize distress calls coming from doctors at Pillbox Medical?
Negative.
Do gang members expect doctors to obey them with the implication of violence if they don't?
Affirmative.
Does PD follow up on reports about gang violence inside of the hospital?
Not all the time. Most times, we do not get any response at all.
Do you feel like there's a need for security at the hospital?
Affirmative.
In your job description, does it say anywhere you're expected to give your life to protect your patient's life?
Pillbox is not a living entity.
In your job description, does it say anywhere you are expected to give yourself onto harm's way and be broken to protect the lives of the patients you treat?
Negative.
Were you instructed and taught in medical school that you should sacrifice your existence for the life of your patient?
Pillbox never went to medical school.
We need to talk about that later, Dr. Janetti. Is security guarding part of your job description, Pillbot?
Negative.
Were you on duty on the night of November 6th, 2021 at around the time of 9 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m.?
Affirmative.
What were you doing when Javier Diaz first arrived with a bullet lodged in his brain and water in his lungs?
Pillbox was handling ER patients and also generating an autopsy report for a case earlier.
Mm-hmm. And did you witness the two Vagos attackers at the hospital?
Don't know who attacked. However, Pillbox saw two members dressed in yellow at the hospital conversing with Dr. Charlie.
The two men dressed in yellow conversing with Dr. Charlie were the men that hurt Dr. Charlie?
Pillbox did not witness any assault. Pillbox only heard of it via radio.
All right. Did you treat Selena Martinez after she'd been attacked by the men in ICU?
Pillbox does not know if Pillbox can reveal information on patients treated at the hospital.
It's in the report.
Pillbox will need confirmation from hospital management.
It's literally in the report that was submitted as evidence.
As it falls under HIPAA, Pillbox would be breaking the law and disclosing confidential information.
It's literally in the report of
No,
this
no,
case.
it's fine, Joe. Move on.
Do you remember there being police presence from when Javier Diaz first arrived to the hospital to after he was admitted to ICU and assaulted?
Pillbox does not have records of police officers when Pillbox was treating patients in the ICU after the incident.
Have you, Pillbot, ever been forced at gunpoint to allow somebody in the ICU?
Affirmative.
Did it happen more than once?
Affirmative.
All right, no further questions.
Okay, any cross-examination?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, in that case, Pillbot, thank you. You may step on down, and if you wish to, you may leave. Okay, defense. Who are you guys calling up next?
Dr. Charlie Genetti.
Sorry, time. Fucking wheelchair.
What about me? Someone sorry for me?
I'm not even supposed to be in the fucking city.
My man.
Swearing.
Surge. Please raise your left hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, under penalty of perjury, so help you, Han?
Sure thing.
The witness has been sworn in, Your Honor.
Okay, Gio, when you're ready.
All right, state your full name for the record, please.
Charles Janice Genetti.
Dr. Charles Janice Genetti, how long have you worked at Pillbox Medical for?
Year and a half.
And what is your job title and description?
I am an attending. Essentially, you know, we kind of do all the work for the board and all that. You know, we help train everyone, help hire everyone, do all the interviews for new applicants. Just kind of do all the day-to-day stuff.
So you would say you have pretty solid experience when it comes to internal affairs of the hospital.
Absolutely.
Okay. Has the populational increase impacted negatively the functionality of Pillbox Medical?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been hectic every day.
Is Pillbox Medical currently understaffed?
Absolutely.
Is it easy for doctors to become overwhelmed with work around the hours that the incidents discussed today took place, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern?
Oh yeah, that's the hell hour. It is awful. Yeah, we are every single one of those nights. At least one of us is getting kidnapped. I got kidnapped 3 times around that time the other night, and
All right.
stabbed.
You can take a seat if you want, sir. I see that you're
It hurts to
wobbling a
sit.
little bit. Okay. Do you expect doctors you hire at the hospital to act as security guards?
Absolutely not.
Are the doctors you hire at the hospital instructed to act as security guards?
Absolutely not.
Are the doctors you hire instructed to give their lives to protect the lives of their patients when threatened with gang violence or any type of violence?
Absolutely not. We're not badass like kung fu masters or any shit like that. Oh, sorry, part of my French. Any crap like that.
Okay. Could you tell me? I'm going to ask you this question right now. In this case, it was stated by the plaintiff's representation, the events that unfolded were, quote, in clear violation of the Pillbox medical duty of care, end quote. Dr. Genetti, as a high-ranking physician of Pillbox Medical, what constitutes the so-called, quote, Pillbox medical duty of care, end quote?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. Duty of care. I was trained by Dr. Choi Zhang-sun. The only duty of care I was ever told or taught about was that it was okay to shoot a patient if they're being an asshole in the bed.
All right. Is there a contract signed between the patients and Pillbox Medical that relates to ICU admission and visitation?
They can't really sign anything. They're, nearly dead.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing that was signed previously, though. There's no contract. Okay.
That I know of.
Is there a guideline in the Pillbox Medical SOPs that states that patients who are not on the ICU list are not allowed to visit ICU patients?
Objection. Facts not in evidence.
We're discussing the SOPs here, sir.
And you could have submitted the SOPs into evidence. should
Cannot
you wish.
submit SOPs,
hey,
I
okay,
was
let me-
told.
I'm going to allow a very brief line of questioning surrounding them.
All right. Does it say in the SOPs for ICU that a doctor cannot let anyone who's not in the visitation list to visit a patient that's in the ICU?
It does not.
It does not. Okay. How does ICU visitation work?
Essentially, we just stand next to the dead body. We stare at a clipboard for about 5 minutes. Awkwardly wait to find. It takes. There's a lot of paperwork. It takes a long time to get all the names. We usually end up finding those names, and the emergency contacts will tell their friends, "Hey, oh no, Johnny Appleseed's hurt. He's in ICU." And then they'll bring their friends, even though they're not on the list. As long as the emergency contact says they're allowed to go back there, then we usually let them back there.
Okay. Are there any plans in motion to revitalize the SOPs at the moment?
It's a work in progress.
Okay. Do you have the power to fire or discipline people within Pillbox given to you by Cross?
If we can discipline them, yes, if they do something pretty ridiculous.
All right. Can I just ask one more question about the SOP, Justice?
It's just Judge. But yeah, you can ask one more.
Okay, I just want to know, is there anything in the ICU admission SOPs that talks about locked doors or anything like that?
Don't believe so.
Okay. All right. I rest for now.
Don't want to say you rest.
I rest him.
Just
no further questions.
There we go. Okay, Breakaway, Yellow, do you guys have any questions before we go over to Hamilton?
Not regarding that line of questioning, Your Honor.
Or any questions? It's not a cross.
No.
Okay, in that case, come on up, Hamilton.
Alrighty, Dr. Giannetti. Are the doctors hired by Pillbox expected to regulate in any way, shape, or form the people allowed into their ICU?
Repeat that. I really don't know what you're asking.
Is it expected of the doctors overseeing a patient that they are to regulate admission into the ICU in any way, shape, or form?
If the emergency contacts say someone should be allowed in the back, we let them in the back.
That's not what I asked.
I don't know what the hell you're asking.
Yeah, objection, Your Honor. That's vague.
You need to speak up again, Gio.
I objected because it's so vague.
It's not vague at all, Your Honor. I'm asking a rather specific question. Are they expected
Yeah, I don't think the question's vague. I just think he's, I guess, having issues passing it.
Alright, you admit a patient into the ICU. At that point, and they're unconscious, they can't speak to their emergency contacts or their wishes.
Yep.
Is it on you at all to inhibit who is and isn't allowed to visit them in the ICU?
If they're on their emergency contact list, they can go back there. If someone shows up who's a friend, emergency contact says they're okay, we can let them back there. Like, that's what we do.
Alrighty, but if anyone else shows up, Can I just waltz
If
in?
Is the emergency contact saying you're allowed back there?
That's not what I'm asking. If
You
anyone else
can't
shows
just walk
up,
back there. If the
it-
emergency contact says you can go back there, you can go back there. If the emergency
Thank
contact
you.
says no, they can't go back there, they do not go back there.
Thank you for answering the question. You identified a need for security at Pillbox Medical. Who would be responsible for hiring that security?
I don't know. I guess possibly the city government.
How long has the revitalization of the SOPs been in place?
A couple weeks.
So
maybe-
after this incident?
When was this incident? About a month ago. I think it was. We had started discussing it around October, I believe, towards the end of October.
But the actual
That was a rough
revitalization
month.
itself has only started in the last couple of weeks. Is that correct?
Let me think. It was about a week before Thanksgiving. It really started getting working, and then Thanksgiving just kind of slowed it all down.
Alrighty. So after this incident would be accurate.
Yeah, I guess so.
1 second, Your Honor. Is there anything you can think to ask?
Nope. That's good shit.
Okay, anything
That's
for redirect?
it, Your Honor.
Yeah, I heard. Right, anything for
Alright.
redirect?
No, not at all.
Okay, in that case, Dr. Janetti, you may step on down. Thank you very much.
Right.
You are free to leave as well if you wish.
I'll be back. I need to go make sure none of my doctors are dead.
Your Honor,
Okay.
Yep.
Can
I'd
close
just
that
like
time.
to clear something specific in that testimony. I did
Okay.
not give Janetti the power to fire anyone, okay? I am not his boss.
He is
I
not.
thought that was a weird comment. So
I did hesitate on that one.
Probably Derek. They're probably mean Derek Shaw. Please.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I meant, Derek Shaw.
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna call now. Time reducer.
Okay, Officer Reducer, if you wouldn't mind coming on up.
What's up?
Please raise your left hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, on penalty of perjury? So help you, Han.
Yes, sir.
This witness has been sworn in, Your Honor.
Okay, Gia, when you're ready.
All right. Could you state your full name for the record, please?
My name is Time Reducer.
All right. And what is your job title and description within the PD?
I'm a senior LSPD officer.
All right. How long have you been an officer for at the PD?
Too long.
All right. I'm going to ask you from your field of expertise with gang-related investigations. When somebody tries to leave a gang, is there retaliation?
I can't say for sure.
All right. As a senior officer, are you ever instructed to keep Pillbox medical doctors updated on gang-related rivalries?
Can you restate the question?
As a senior officer, are you ever instructed to keep Pillbox Medical updated on gang-related rivalries?
No.
Okay. Do you recall why you were called to patrol the ICU corridors on November 8th?
There was a 911 call stating that due to previous situations of a man getting attacked at the hospital, that they needed some security to watch over another individual. I think it was like a Mike S'more was in the ICU because
All
of
right.
fear of him being attacked.
All right. And did that call come from Dr. Hardy?
I don't know. I don't remember.
All right. Do you recall having any conversations with Dr. Hardy that day?
I don't recall.
All right. So, just to clarify here, then, Javier Diaz arrived at the hospital on November 6th. He was discharged of ICU on November 8th. On that date of November 8th, you were called by Dr. Charlie Hardy to patrol the corridors of ICU at Pillbox Medical for a different patient who was a vagos attacked by another vagos, according to that 911 call, correct?
Like I said before, I don't recall who called me down.
Mhm.
All I remember is that I was was 911 call
Mhm.
that they needed protection because of a individual in ICU in fear of getting attacked. Myself, Bayo, I believe, and Trooper Copper were also in the ICU room together, just being Overwatch.
All right. I got no further questions.
Okay. Anything from your co-counsel?
No, Your
for
Honor.
Particular witness.
Okay. And when you're ready.
All right, Officer Reducer, just one quick one.
Yep.
To the best of your recollection, the 911 call you received, that was after an assault had taken place?
There had been one. This was there had been one previous. I guess a different day. I don't remember. But this was for a different Vagos member.
Alrighty, and you weren't called preemptively to provide security or anything like that?
Yeah, we were called before those individuals, or before anyone was called in to, like, see the guy. I don't know.
Alrighty, thank you so much. That's it from us, Your Honor.
Okay, any redirect on that one question?
No, not at all.
Okay, thank you, Officer Reducer. You may step on down and you're free to leave.
Oh, thank you guys. Appreciate it, man.
I would like to call Aziz Sultan.
There's no fucking way I was called for 2 seconds and I was waiting for now. Oh my god.
Whoa. That's gotta suck to hear.
Please raise your left hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, under penalty of perjury, so help you, Han?
Wallahi, I swear.
Your Honor, the witness has been sworn in.
Okay, when you're ready, Javier.
All right, could you state your full name for the record, please?
Aziz Sultan.
All right, and what is your job title and description within the PD?
I am a fully sworn officer of the law.
Were you on duty the night of November 6th to 2021 at around the times of 9 p.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern when these happenings took place with the plaintiff?
Yes, I was on duty on that day. I do not recall what time I was around, however.
All right. Did you notice a distress call coming from the hospital that related to the events that took place in the ICU?
A distress call? How do you mean?
Yeah, a 911 call that related an assault at the ICU.
I do not recall receiving anything. I was occupied that day.
Was it a busy night that night?
Yes, extremely busy.
How many units would you say on estimate were around?
Oof. Estimate, it's going to be a rough estimate, anywhere between 15 to 25.
All right. And what were you doing prior to arriving at the hospital that night?
I was in a bench trial with Judge Crane.
What did you come to the hospital for then?
There was a suspect who was involved in the bench trial, was injured. I believe he passed out, so I took him to Pillbox Medical to get medical attention.
So you weren't directly responding to the 911 call put in stating that there was a patient in the ICU that had been mutilated, an emergency contact that was kidnapped, and another emergency contact that was stabbed in the ICU, and a doctor held up. You weren't responding to that.
Like I said, no, I had my subject who needed medical attention, who was involved in a bench trial.
All right. As stated on the medical report, Dr. Hardy identified you as being the officer that have that conversation with him. Do you recall it? Having a conversation with Dr. Hardy about, the happenings there, though you weren't really responding to that call?
Dr. Hart.
Yeah, Dr. Charlie Hardy. Do you recall having a conversation with him about those happenings, though you weren't responding to that call?
I do not recall speaking with Dr. Hardy. I recall speaking with another doctor.
Okay, that is very weird because that is very weird. Could you tell the court what calls are considered priority calls to the police?
Absolutely. We have priority calls. There are different priority calls. If there is a large situation with individuals' lives at risk, we prioritize that. If the city vault where individuals are held kidnapped, they would take priority over other calls.
So if you attempted to break off from the situation you were into to respond to a distress call from the hospital where a doctor was held up, an ICU patient was mutilated, an ICU contact was kidnapped, and another one stabbed, if you attempted to break off to the situation you're in to respond to that, would your superiors have taken issue with it?
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation.
It's not speculation if he has the experience. I'm talking about priority calls.
As far as I understand,
Oh, hey, there's an objection on the floor.
I'm talking about priority calls, right? I need to know if this is a priority call compared to a Bobcat, to a Vault, or whatever the hell was happening that night.
Defense is asking the witness to testify to the comings and goings of someone else and how they would react to it.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about procedure. Would his superiors have taken issue
You're asking
if somebody
him to
decided to
speak on the
break off
actions
to
of
go
his
see to that
superior.
call? I'm sorry. I just feel like the experience part of that really counts.
No, I'm going to sustain. I agree. It's speculating on what his superiors would do in a situation he may not have even been in himself.
All right. Would you say a call like this, Mr. Aziz Sultan, is a priority call over a call like a bank or a Bobcat?
Am I good to answer, Your Honor?
Yeah, that one you can answer.
Would you be able to reword that for me, ma'am?
All right. You get a 911. The 911 call says, help, I'm a doctor. I just been held up. My patient in the ICU was mutilated by gang members. One of the ICU contacts is missing at the moment, and another one was stabbed in the ICU. If you get that 911 call and you're responding to either a bank, a Bobcat, or a Palito bank, would that be considered a priority call?
Different banks have different priorities, but yes, I would go and attend to this situation.
So that is considered a priority call then?
If somebody was mutilated and somebody was kidnapped from hospital grounds, I would see it as a priority situation.
So in a shift with 25 officers, why do you think that is that no one showed up?
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation.
Yeah.
I gotta ask those questions because they're really relevant. Not to put you on the spot, Aziz, but I've been in EMS and I understand how that works.
Hey, Bonnie, how's it going?
All right, that's gonna be it for me. Thank you.
Okay, anything from your co-counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Hamilton, when you're ready.
We have no questions, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. In that case, Officer Sultan, you may step on down. And you're welcome to stay or you're free to leave.
Sounds good. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, any other witnesses?
Nope.
Okay, any evidence you'd like me to take a look at?
No.
This is where you say you rest if you'd like to.
In that case, how much time do you guys need for closings?
My closing statement's already ready.
If we could just have 5 or 10 minutes, Your Honor, that'd be great.
Yeah, let's come back at 20 past and I'll give you 6 minutes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, brief recess.
We're the plaintiff's ready, Your Honor.
Okay, defense. Sorry. Okay, defense. I assume you guys are ready as well?
Yep.
You need to speak up again, Gio.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I am ready, Your Honor.
Okay, prosecution with your closing when you're ready.
All right, Your Honors. Charlie Hardy allowed blanket access of a gang known as the Vagos, unsupervised, into the ICU room of an unconscious man. The defense reiterated time and time again that Pillbox staff are not trained on gang identification or their rivalries, or any sort of minutiae of their comings and goings. How is he to know who was and wasn't a member, aside from allowing them access? All this happening while it's been pointed out the dire need for security at Pillbox Medical. Charlie Hardy stated himself that he has a duty of care for his patients. Charlie Hardy knows that the Vagos are a gang and stated that visitors are documented, but in this case, had they been documented, the plaintiff's assailants may have been arrested after the fact. And now, coincidentally, the SOPs of Pillbox Medical are being worked on, despite talking about it for months. Negligence is not the result of a careful person taking care, and in this case, no care was taken. Javier Diaz bears the permanent scars of Charlie Hardy's negligence. Thank you.
All right. Give me one moment, Your Honor.
Yeah, when you're ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, and Judge McNee, what we've seen here today in this courtroom is that nothing in the current medical SOPs states that within the policy for ICU patient visitation, it says that people outside of the patient list are not allowed to be let in the ICU room. And therefore, what the plaintiff so confidently calls a, quote, clear violation of Pillbox duty of care, end quote, is neither clear nor a violation because it is not written anywhere in the SOPs. That alone shows that this case is baseless. The other claim is that my client was, quote, grossly negligent, end quote. As seen with the testimonies given here today by Officer Time Reducer and Dr. Hardy, Javier Diaz was the first of a series of patients that were Vagos gang members harmed by other Vagos gang members to enter the hospital injured. There was no way my client could have known this was happening on the first occurrence, which was Javier Diaz, when he arrived with a bullet lodged in his brain at the hospital, so that he would be able to ensure proper safety measures were taken during ICU visitations for Vagos gang members wanting to visit Vagos in the ICU that fit the same criminal modus operandi of Javier Diaz's injuries by their criminals. Time Reducer was called to the hospital to patrol the corridor and ensure that patients and visitations were safe on the 8th because there was enough evidence to suggest then that there was a clear threat to Vagos ICU patients with similar injuries. The doctor can't really apply security measures if he doesn't know these extra measures are needed, and they were indeed implemented once this threat became known to the doctors, which proves that my client is not negligent with his duties. At no point in time, the defense is arguing that the plaintiff is not a victim of a horrendous crime. The argument laid here today is that Dr. Hardy was not at fault for the actions of criminals that committed this violence, criminals that should have been put on the stand here today had the police responded to the scene with the urgency and care they should have answered to it, as they would have promptly answered to a call relating to the well-being of one of their colleagues. Pillbox medical violence for a long time has not been made a priority by the Unified Police Department, which left Pillbox medical personnel gradually powerless and at the mercy of criminals in constant fear for their lives whenever they try to enforce any measures against gang members. This case reveals that there's a clear systemic issue as far as how PD handles the calls relating to violence at Pillbox Medical, and it shows negligence on part of the PD to not treat a doctor held as hostage, a mutilated patient in the ICU, and a kidnapped emergency contact subsequently mutilated in the ICU as a priority call at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At time of day, there are always plenty of officers able to respond to calls and on duty, as stated by Mr. Aziz Sultan today, 15 to 25. No units could break off to see this call. The lives of the doctors at Pillbox Medical are unimportant. The money being stolen at banks is more important than that. The response time for this was that of 25 to 35 minutes, and the joke of it was that Aziz wasn't even there to answer to that call. There was never a follow-up to that conversation, even though my client was told that there would be. This is not Aziz's fault. It's something that has been normalized and passed down to officers and needs to end. There's a culture in the Unified Police Department of not treating Pillbox Medical as a priority call. Hospital workers are therefore dehumanized because the distress calls are valued less than a bank job. And now doctors are even further dehumanized by this lawsuit today. Not only are their lives not estimated by law enforcement, they're also expected to do jobs that are not part of their job description, such as treating dozens of patients while simultaneously doing security rounds to ensure that everybody in the hospital is safe. They're expected to lay their lives for the lives of the patients that they are treating when threatened with violence by members of gangs in the hospital demanding to get their way. They're expected to die to protect their patients as if they were not human themselves. What this case shows here today is that this city as a whole expects too much of medical professionals, and it speaks volumes as to the reason why Pillbox Medical today is understaffed. No person wants to be treated as if they were not human. And no person certainly wants to go to a job that they have to save lives and instead have their lives threatened and be expected to give their lives for the lives of their patients in the face of violence. Doctors work to save the lives that enter the doors of the hospital. They do not give their lives in exchange to the lives of their patients. They're not police officers. And the plaintiff here is under the impression that they are. The Hippocratic Oath states to treat the ill to the best of one's ability, to preserve a patient's privacy, to teach the secrets of medicine to the next generation, and so on. Dr. Hardy upheld the Hippocratic Oath when he saved Javier Diaz's life not once but twice. He saved his life when Diaz first arrived at the hospital with a bullet lodged inside of his brain. Dr. Hardy continued to uphold the Hippocratic Oath when he treated Javier Diaz again after Diaz had been mutilated by the two gang members that came to visit him in the ICU, let in by his trusted emergency contact, Selena. Dr. Hardy did so even though he was under extreme stress from having his life threatened by the man that committed those horrific acts moments prior to Mr. Diaz. He was well trained to do so given his vast curricular experience as a Royal Navy medic and as a Doctor Without Borders volunteers in war zones. Dr. Hardy did his due diligence as a surgeon, and it is because of that that Javier Diaz stands before you today, breathing and asking for compensation at the expense of tarnishing the reputation of the man that saved his life.
This closing.
The fact that Javier Diaz is alive today after arriving at the hospital with water in both of his lungs and a gunshot wound to the head is the strongest evidence that my client is far from grossly negligent or was at any point violating any of Pillbox medical standards operating procedures. Because the duty of care, quote unquote, is not a document and it does not exist. The defense rests.
Jesus.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to head back with Judge Crane and deliberate. I'm not sure how long we'll be. If it's going to be a long time, feel free to leave and we'll put out a state announcement.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, is everyone ready? Do we have everyone?
I believe we're so, Your Honor.
Okay, then let me call the court back into session so I can give you guys my verdict. Now, firstly, I would like to extend not just mine, but the court's sympathy to you, Mr. Diaz. I'm hoping you're healing well and you've been living the best you're able to since the incident.
Appreciate it, Your Honor.
Now, let's talk about the damages you've asked for. They're actually both pretty intertwined, as I believe the same person is liable for both the punitive and the general damages. Dr. Hardy deals with ICU patients on a regular basis. He and several other doctors testified here today about how the visitation process works, and how sometimes when somebody is admitted to the ICU, word spreads and a few extra stragglers do come along to try and visit. And as long as a emergency contact gives permission, they are allowed to visit the patient. Do I believe somebody in this situation acted with gross negligence? Yes, I do. Do I believe that person was Dr. Hardy, following Pillbox Medical's procedures regarding ICU visitation? I do not believe so. I actually believe Dr. Harvey acted in good faith. Instead, the person acting negligently, or even with malice, would be the person on Diaz's contact list who vouched for the additional people to be admitted into his room. The person who is directly responsible for his disfigurement is the person who vouched for these people, and Dr. Hardy was acting in good faith in his capacity as a doctor throughout the entire situation dealing with Mr. Diaz.
Oof.
And instead, Mr. Diaz, you should be seeking this compensation from either your emergency contact or the people who sadly did attack you while you laid in that bed, and not Dr. Hardy here today. As such, I will be finding in favor of the defendant. If anyone has any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to approach myself or Crane afterwards. Thank you.
Ouch.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor.